Okay. So we've talked about pillar content. We've talked about, finding your voice. We've talked about how, really leaning into who you are and who you're not. I want to talk about this idea of having a distribution plan for your content. So if we take a step back, okay, one of the things I said earlier was there's a lot of value in setting aside time to batch create your content. We talked about creating a content library. So if we think about this, let's say you're listening to this going, okay, I hear what you're saying, Katie. Social media is rented ground. I need to start putting out helpful content, evergreen content that's timeless. This will help with lead generation. Okay, so as you're thinking about this, I'm going to just imagine that you're thinking, okay, what if I did one video a week? Which, by the way, I think is totally doable. Now, you can do more than one a week. We have some agents in our academy who do like 2, 3, 4, 5 a week. But I would say start with one video a week, one 60-second or 90-second video. Okay, so if we do the math, one video a week, there's 4 or 5 months in the year, right? Or 4 or 5, excuse me, not in the year, 4 or 5 weeks in the month. So if we kind of take a step back and go, okay, if I'm going to publish 4 or 5 videos for the month, that means like the previous month, according to Katie's plan, I need to batch create that content. Okay, stick with me here. So we're thinking ahead to January. Well, right now we're in December as we are recording this live. It is December 3rd. So let's say around the middle of the month, before the holidays, around the 14th, 15th or so, you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to batch record videos like Katie said. Awesome. So you sit down, you've got your list of ideas, you've got your content grid, you're ready to go. You record a few videos. You don't post them right away, but you're ready for January. Okay. So far, so good. So you've got your videos, you've got them on your phone, or you save them to your computer, wherever you've got them. And the first week of January rolls around. And maybe you decide, okay, well, once a week, I'm going to post a video and I'm going to do it on Tuesdays. We're going to do like a tip Tuesday. Awesome. Tuesday rolls around and you upload that video. Now, by the way, if you're looking at this slide right here, what you're looking at is Monday through Friday across the top. And you could post on the weekends, obviously, but I'm just using Monday through Friday as an example. And then on the left-hand side, I have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You may not be on all three. It's fine. I'm just using this as an example. Okay, so Tuesday rolls around. You upload your video to your Facebook business page. You might also upload it to your personal profile if you want. That's fine. You upload it to Instagram as a reel and you upload it to YouTube. Okay, a couple days go by. Thursday rolls around. You go back to Facebook. You share that video from your page to your story. Same thing with Instagram. You share it from your page to your story. With YouTube, if you have an email database, you send an email to your database and you might say something like, hey, have you ever thought about X, Y, and Z? Awesome. I just did a video about this. Here's a link. If you don't have a database or you don't want to send it to everyone, you might think about what this video was and are there a couple people you could send it to that you could email it to? So for example, this video was about tips for first-time homebuyers in January in Virginia. And you're actively talking to 3 or 4 first-time home buyers, send them that link. You might say, hey, so-and-so, I was just thinking about you. I know you guys are thinking about, dipping your toe into the water this year, being a first-time home buyer. As you think about it, hey, I just published this video. I thought you might want to take a peek. That is one of the cool things I think about content too, is it's not just like putting it out there and hoping people will notice. It's also a little bit of sort of hand-to-hand combat, so to speak, where you're sort of reaching out and being proactive. Okay. Friday rolls around, you can reshare that video on Facebook, either re-upload it or share it again. And you might say something like, hey, if you missed my tip of the week, here it is. Now, some of you may have never shared something more than once on Facebook. You might think, well, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to be that person. First of all, I don't know about you, but I can't remember what I had for breakfast like 3 days ago, let alone what I saw on Facebook. So nothing wrong with resharing it. Same thing with Instagram. You can either re-upload, or I would probably just share it over to my story again, or, repost it. And then same thing with YouTube. If you're on other platforms, like a lot of you might be on LinkedIn, share that YouTube link over on LinkedIn, or if you're on X, or if you're on other platforms. My point here is that you've got one piece of content and you've turned this into 9 different ways to repurpose it, right? One piece of content turned into 9 different things. And I think it's important to mention that because a lot of people, a lot of real estate agents, they start to create content and they wonder why they're not getting a whole lot of views. And I'll often say, well, where did you post it? And they'll post it here, post it there. It always cracks me up when I see somebody post something and they have like 0 views. I'm like, you're not even watching. your own content. So you have to share it more than once. People just don't see it. Even the people who love you, your biggest fans, do not see all your content. And that, keep in mind, that's just one piece of content. So from there, the next slide is you can fill in. Oops, let me go back here. You can fill in with additional content. So if you want to post like a Monday market update, maybe your broker posts something, or your local association or your local MLS, you want to post an update. Cool. Maybe Wednesday is Wednesday Wisdom, where you maybe share something inspirational. And then maybe somewhere over the weekend, you post about a new listing or a client you worked with recently. Maybe you're featuring a local business, or, you're doing an open house. So the nice part about this is when you can get yourself into a weekly routine where you week in and week out, then you can repeat it. And it's going to give you just a lot more sustainability, if that makes sense. Let me know, what do you guys think so far? We're kind of, I've got about 15 minutes left. Is this helpful so far? Let me know in the chat here. I'm just looking at the chat. Tamara says, yes, I like the content grid. Awesome. Yeah, such a great opportunity. Thank you, Brittany. So hopefully this is helpful to see. I always share this because I feel like it's a lot easier to look at something that's like, filled out versus like a blank calendar. And especially as you think about creating like a 12-month content plan or a 2026 plan, it can just feel really daunting. I'm just a big believer of like, get yourself into a weekly routine that you can rinse and repeat. And the nice part about this too, especially if you're focused on one video a week, that is very sustainable, especially if you're batching it, right? You batch it, you're ready to go, you've got your content. The beautiful part about that too is it gives you some freedom, because life is going to happen, right? As soon as we have it all figured out, you guys know this, right? Something happens. There's someone in our family who's ill. We get ill. We want to go on vacation. Something happens. And so this allows for that consistency in our business. Cool. Yay. You guys are liking it. I appreciate it. Awesome. All right, cool. So I've said this word, repurposing your content, quite a few times. I know Beth has heard me say this a lot. I'm a big believer in repurposing and repackaging. And the way I think about repurposing is you can, first of all, post your content to different platforms. For example, I don't think you have to be everywhere. I don't think as an agent, you have to be on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and Pinterest and X. Like, there's all these different platforms. I recommend as an agent, you pick one or two, maybe three that you like, that your clients are on. And by the way, if you're not sure where your clients are on, this time of year, the end of year, is a great time to send an email to your database. And you might say something like, hey, we're working on our 2026 plan. We want to make sure we serve you best with how we show up on social media. And we're just wondering, where are you spending time online these days? Is it Facebook? Is it YouTube? Is it none of the above? And people will be very honest with you. So be where you want to be, and also be where your clients are. That being said, when you think about your content, there's lots of opportunities for repurposing. One of the ways that we repurpose, I mentioned this earlier, is we will take our longer form videos and we splice them up into short form reels. We often will get our videos transcribed. This is where I use ChatGPT quite a bit. I will get a video transcribed, and then I'll go into ChatGPT and I'll copy and paste the transcript, and I'll say something like, hey, I just created a video. Here's the transcript. And based on this transcript, can you create an email newsletter? Or based on this transcript, can you create a couple social media posts? Or, and the nice part about that is it's my words, right? But it's using it as a way to, again, repurpose and repackage it in a way that makes sense. One thing I think is really important also, because we talked about repurposing, we've talked about pillar content and showing up. I think a big myth is that you have to get thousands of followers, right? Everyone's like, how many followers do people have? I don't think it's about getting thousands of followers. I think it's about getting the right followers. I think that's more important than ever before. I'd rather you have a couple hundred great local followers than 10,000 people, right? And I think that's so important. I think sometimes, especially in real estate, it's easy to just, think, oh, I have to become a content creator. I have to become an influencer. No, you're a full-time realtor. Content creation and social media is one piece of the pie. It's not the whole pie. And not only that, social media has changed. So a lot of you know this, but with algorithms, your content isn't always getting seen by people who are following you, right? And when you post a piece of content, typically what happens is it goes out to a small percentage of the people who follow you, but it also goes out to people who don't follow you, but who might be interested in that topic. So that's why I think follower count just isn't as important. I don't even know if it was ever really that important, because of how the algorithms are right now, right? And even I would say likes and comments aren't always necessarily an indicator. I mentioned this earlier. People tend to lurk. People tend to, especially with real estate content, oftentimes do not comment publicly. They lurk. They will often save your content and they will often DM you when they're ready to work with you. So just keep that in mind. Real estate it's just a different niche than selling t-shirts or coffee mugs, right? Again, we're talking about like the biggest financial decision for most people in their life. So I want to spend the next 10 minutes or so talking about how to take your content from good to great, because we've talked about time blocking, making social media and content creation a priority, the importance of finding your voice, the importance of having a distribution plan, using a content grid. But maybe some of you are already doing this and you're still not getting results. So I want to talk about a few tweaks and a few of my favorite tools that I use just to go from good to great. Okay, I've got 4 tools on the screen here. I'm sure a lot of you use at least 1 or 2 of these. Maybe some of you use all of these, but these are my go-to tools in my toolbox. I'm not affiliated with any of these tools. I don't get paid to promote any of them. So full disclosure, I just use them. I love them. I always recommend them a lot, especially in our academy. So ChatGPT, you guys know, I'm sure a lot of you are using ChatGPT. I know Beth's got a awesome AI class coming up next month, I believe, which is really exciting. So definitely recommend that. ChatGPT is awesome, right? There's a free version, there's a paid version, there's a lot you can do with it. I do think it's important though to really make sure you are customizing it, that you are making it sound like you. I think because so many people are using ChatGPT, I don't know if you guys feel this way. I feel like everybody sounds the same. There's like, again, sort of this sea of sameness where everyone's social media captions and hashtags and emails are starting to sound the same. And I think it's because so many people are using AI. So again, be smart. Don't use it for everything. It shouldn't replace you. You always need to double check for things like fair housing. And there's just also something to be said about writing something that's imperfect. There's those flaws as well. So, but ChatGPT can be great in a lot of ways. Canva, love Canva. Canva just went through a big update. You could do video editing within Canva. There's great templates in Canva. We have a whole Canva library for our Academy members. Canva's awesome. I think a big thing with Canva, though, again, how do we stand out in the sea of sameness? Make sure you're customizing any templates with your brand colors, with your logo. Again, inserting your own personality, leaning into who you are. Number 3, Descript. I've been talking about Descript now for a couple years. Descript is a paid tool, but there's a free version as well. I think they have a free trial. And Descript is great for video editing. Some of you, actually earlier on, I was talking about taking videos and sort of chopping them up. You don't have to be a video editor to do this, which is so beautiful. We live in a time right now where it's even easier than ever before to make better video content. So you can use a tool like Descript. And what I do when I batch record my videos, especially my longer videos, like for YouTube, I will go into Descript. I upload those videos. And this is something I do on my computer. So if I've got videos on my phone, I have an iPhone and a Mac. I can just airdrop my videos to myself. But if you don't have that, you could put your videos into Google Drive or Dropbox or somewhere else where you can, upload them from your phone and then grab them on your desktop. So with Descript, you upload a video into Descript and it transcribes the whole video. Remember earlier I mentioned how I will take a transcription and drop it into ChatGPT and say, okay, based on my transcription from my video I just recorded, can you turn this into an email newsletter or a blog post or whatever it might be? So I use Descript for that. But also with Descript, there are some AI tools which are awesome. So even if you don't know how to video edit, there's like a little button that says studio sound. And you click that and it fixes the sound in your video. So if you've got the wind whipping or something, it's going to fix it. There's also a button that's going to remove the pauses in your video. If you tend to pause a lot, when I'm doing a longer video, I'm not scripted, but I have notes. So I often have like a notepad where I've got like, a pad of paper and I'm like looking down. So you can cut all that out through AI, which is awesome. You can cut out the ums and ahs and any pauses, things like that. So it's great. You can basically take a video, upload it, and within a few minutes, go from good to great, which is awesome. And then the 4th tool that I've been using for a couple years now is MiniChat, minichat.com. Some of you have heard me talk about this before. So MiniChat is a great tool where you can take people from social media to somewhere else, to your email list, to your website. Um, I'm sure you've seen this where this happens a lot on Instagram, where you're scrolling through and someone's like, hey, if you'd like my free guide to this, comment below with this word and I'll send it to you. And you're like, okay. And then you do that and you get it right away. Like, how did that happen? They probably set up what's called an AI automation through ManyChat. Again, this is a paid tool. I'm not affiliated. I don't do this on every single one of my posts, but a couple times a month, I always, again, keep in mind, social media is rented ground. I don't want my whole community just living on Instagram. I don't want all my content living on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. So I'm always thinking, how can I provide value, but also drive people to my website or maybe a class or a guide that they could download. So I actually have an example for you guys to test this out. Some of you have probably done this before if you've been on any of my classes, but this is just kind of a fun little demo to show you how this works. Now, whenever I do this in front of a group of people, there's always like one or two people that it doesn't work for whatever reason, because sometimes Instagram hiccups, but 99% of the time it works. So if you want to try this out, if you're at a place where you can take out your phone and scan this QR code, if you're driving, don't do this. But if you're at a place where you can scan this, what you'll do is you're going to scan this QR code. This is actually a post I made back in September. And it's going to get you to this post that says free social media resources for realtors. It's actually pinned to the top of my page. So if you go to Instagram and you want to see it, it's just like one of my pinned posts. So 3 things, scan this code. When you get to this post, comment with the word free. So you can say whatever you want, but the most important thing is that you write the word free somewhere in the comment. And once you do that, within a few seconds, maybe even a minute or two, you'll get an automated DM from me. Something like, hey, thanks so much. If you'd like the link, click here. And it's a kind of an automated sequence. And what's great about that is it's sharing free resources, but it's giving you a link to my website, which, shameless plug, if you would like my free resources, you can you can do that as well. If for some reason this QR code doesn't work for you, I'll share my email at the end and I will send it to you. But I love mentioning this because I think, especially for a realtor, if we go back for just a second, if we rewind, we talked about, remember at the beginning, we said, hey, let's think about having like an editorial calendar, right? If you have kind of an editorial calendar of your content and you're sitting down once or twice a month to batch record your content and you're putting out a video each week, well, what if one or two of those videos you had at the end something like, hey, by the way, if you'd like my first time homebuyer guide, comment below with the word guide and I'll send it to you. Or, hey, by the way, if you'd like to attend my upcoming webinar on, military relocation do's and don'ts, comment below with the word military and I'll send you my guide or I'll send you my link. So my point here, and this is a little bit more advanced, but especially for those of you who've been doing content a long time, this is a great next step. Because again, we want to build your email list, you want to build your database, you want to somehow take people from social to your website to email. Let me know if that makes sense. If you have any questions, I saw a couple people or a couple things in the chat. Okay, cool. Thanks for putting the link, Brittany, in the chat. Awesome. I appreciate that. So, yeah, and it's always cool to see, and by the way, the other thing I'll just mention really quick, I was so reluctant to sign up for any like AI automation because I pride myself in personally responding. Like, for example, if you DM me, it's me. I'm the one responding. I don't have an assistant or somebody else. Like, it's me. If you email me, it's me who responds, right? So I was like, do I really need like an AI automation? And what I realized is the nice part about it is when you put out something of value and people want what you're offering, they want it right then. They don't want to wait 8 hours until you're on Instagram again. So what's nice about this is I can have this living. In fact, I have it pinned to the top of my Instagram page. This was a post from September, from 3 months ago, and I'm still getting folks who are commenting, who are still going over to my website, who are, engaging with me, which is really, really cool. So, and the nice part about that too is even though I have an AI automation, I can still follow up personally and say, hey, thank you so much for requesting this. Did you receive this okay? And I can have that personal follow-up, which is really cool. Okay, I've got just a couple minutes left, and I think I've got 4 or 5 last slides here. I did talk about a lot of apps. I love a good app, but there is not an app or tool that can replace you, right? There's nothing like you. We want to hear you. We want to see you. We want to show up. And for any of you who are newer to any of this, the beautiful part about showing up on video, the easiest way to do it, in my opinion, is just use your phone, open up your camera, your video, and record, right? There's lots of apps and tools and widgets and da-da-da, but imagine just sitting down, again, once or twice a month, you prop your phone up, you've got your list of 4 or 5 topics that you can easily, comfortably talk about, and you record. And as I always say, done is better than perfect, right? The more you do it, the better you get. It just takes time. The last few things I recommend, I still think it's a really powerful thing to celebrate your clients. Not all of your clients are public. Some of them are private. So obviously we want to be respectful of that. But for your clients who are on social media, like this is a picture of me and my husband when we bought our home, like forever ago, 10, 11, 12 years ago. I've lost track. And I remember this day. This was the day we got our keys. Our kids who were so little, like ran through the house and opened all the doors and ran through the backyard. And I remember handing our phone to I think it was my iPhone 6. I handed it to my realtor, or our realtor. She took our picture. I posted this to Facebook. And this picture to date has gotten more likes and more comments than almost anything I've ever posted on social, especially on Facebook. And so I just mentioned this because I think, especially again, there's so much noise. How do we stand out in a sea of sameness when we can really honor our clients and say, hey, like I had an opportunity to work with this great family, and I can't wait to see what's next for them. When it's less about you and more about them, like, wow, that's just like a big win-win in a lot of ways. Social media is a marathon, not a sprint, which is why we're doing this class today, right? What you do today is not going to get you like 12 new listings tomorrow, but it's these small interactions over the course of time. It's patience, it's consistency, just like anything else. Done is better than perfect. I said this a second ago, but if you missed it, I have to have it on a slide. Feel free to take a picture of it. A lot of you know this. I have a little sign on my desk that is a reminder, done is better than perfect, because I need that reminder every day. And so what I'd recommend, especially if you're listening to this, pick 1 or 2 things, implement them immediately, start today, right? Start today with doing some of these things. Don't wait till January. All right, the last thing I want to share, and then I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have too. If you enjoyed this, again, make sure you download the free content grid. I think a lot of you already did that, but if you missed it, it's on the screen here, katielance.com/content grid. I've got my email and my social media. Again, if you message me, it's really me. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And then if you enjoyed this and you're not yet part of our Academy family, we would love to have you join the Academy. It's a membership site. You can sign up monthly, yearly. Beth's been a member for years. I know Tamara, who's here in the chat, has been a member for years. And we do weekly training. We do monthly master classes. We provide tons of training and content calendars, and it's a lot of fun. So you can go to katielance.com/academy, or just go to my website.
It's definitely better than perfect. It's a great mantra. Just do it. Just do it. Hit the send button. Just do it.
Yes, exactly. How do I talk and then have text over the screen?